Prime Minister interacts with Ayush practitioners. PM Modi says Ayush sector has a long tradition of keeping the nation healthy and has an important role to play in checking the spread of COVID-19. Stresses that it's important to counter and fact-check. 78 people recover from COVID-19 in India, while total confirmed cases stand at 873. Total active cases stand at 775. 19 succumbed to the disease. Kerala reports its first death. Deceased is a 69-year-old who had returned from Dubai. Nation combats COVID-19. Power Minister approves major relief measures for power sector. Payment security to be reduced by 50%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman thanks entire banking fraternity for ensuring that banking services continue in these adverse times. UP government makes arrangement of 1,000 buses for people coming from other states. Landlords in Gautam Budh Nagar can take rent from workers and tenants only after a month. International coronavirus cases continue to spiral with more than 550,000 cases, killing nearly 24,900 people. Italy deaths rise by 919, highest daily tally since start of outbreak. 345 deaths and 18,000 new cases in last 24 hours in the United States. IMF says world has entered recession. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukmaina. Top story. In a series of his interactions with various stakeholders who are playing a crucial role in tackling and containing COVID-19, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today interacted with Ayush sector practitioners via video conference. Prime Minister said that the Ayush sector has a long tradition of keeping the nation healthy and its importance has increased manifold in the ongoing efforts to tackle COVID-19. Prime Minister observed that their network is spread through the length and breadth of the country, so it's imperative for them to utilize this network while working according to WHO guidelines to spread the message of good practices which need to be adopted in efforts to control the spread of the virus. He also praised ongoing efforts of Ayush Ministry in promoting yoga at home to de-stress the mind and strengthen the body during this difficult phase. Prime Minister underlined the importance of countering and fact-checking unsubstantiated claims of Ayush having a cure for the disease, adding that Ayush scientists, ICMR, CSIR and other research organizations must come together for evidence-based research. He said that the country must be ready to use the entire healthcare workforce to meet the challenge, and if the need so arises, help from private doctors connected with Ayush may be sought by the government. Prime Minister suggested that Ayush medicine producers could utilize their resources towards producing essential items like sanitizers, which are in high demand these days. He exhorted them to utilize the platform of telemedicine to reach out to the public and generate constant awareness to fight the pandemic. He also highlighted the importance of enforcing social distancing with full vigor to counter the spread of the pandemic. Ayush practitioners have lauded the Prime Minister for leading the country's fight against COVID-19. They talked about the impact of these traditional practices towards boosting immunity. They also mentioned their efforts to conduct research for symptomatic treatment and expressed the desire to serve the nation during this time of crisis. He thanked Ayush practitioners for constantly striving to serve the people and once again highlighted the important role they have to play in India's fight against COVID-19. And Sudhakar Das now joins us on the phone line to take us more through what the Prime Minister said in his interactions and more details about what practitioners shared with the Prime Minister. And Sudhakar, take us through all that the Prime Minister spoke about, the points that were stressed upon by Ayush practitioners today.
जी काफी महत्वपूर्ण मुलाकात रही रुकमा, और खास तौर पे हमको पता है कि प्रधानमंत्री लगातार अलग अलग सेक्टर्स के लोगों के साथ संवाद कर रहे हैं। और उसमें खास तौर से जो मेडिकल फील्ड से जुड़े हुए लोग हैं, चाहे फार्मा इंडस्ट्री हो, जो दवा विक्रेता हो, डॉक्टर्स हो, हॉस्पिटल्स के लोग हो, पैरामेडिक्स हो, नर्सेस हो, या फिर आज जब आयुष विभाग से जुड़े हुए आयुष प्रैक्टिशनर से, जो डॉक्टर से, प्रोफेशनल से उन्होंने बातचीत की। और ये काफी महत्वपूर्ण है, एक बड़ी चुनौती का सामना पूरी दुनिया कर रही है और उसमें हर एक व्यक्ति की भूमिका काफी अहम है। आयुष प्रैक्टिशनर्स की इस मायने में प्रोफेशनल्स की भूमिका अहम है, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री ने एक तरह से उनका आह्वान किया है कि जो एक कोरोना के बारे में सही जानकारी लोगों तक पहुंचाए, लोगों को इसके बारे में जो तमाम लोग जागरूक करने में लगे हुए हैं, उसमें जागरूक करने में एक अहम भूमिका निभाए। तो साथ साथ ही इसको लेकर एक सकारात्मक तौर पे लोगों को स्वास्थ्य को लेकर दबाव, उनके ऊपर मानसिक दबाव ना पड़े, तो उसमें एक बड़ा रोल, बड़ी भूमिका ये आयुष प्रोफेशनल्स निभा सकते हैं। तो इस बात पर प्रधानमंत्री ने जोर दिया। प्रधानमंत्री ने यह भी कहा कि आयुष को लेकर योग से जुड़ी हुई बातें या आयुर्वेद से जुड़ी हुई बातें, कई ऐसी चीजें, अनवेरिफाइड चीजें सोशल मीडिया पर भी हैं, उसको एक तरह से, क्योंकि अभी इस तरह का कोई साइंटिफिक जानकारी नहीं मिल पाई है कि आयुर्वेद से या किसी और चीज से पूरी तरह से इसको क्योर किया जा सकता। तो इस बारे में जो भ्रामक जानकारियां हैं, उसके बारे में भी लोगों को सही जानकारी, सही फैक्ट्स बताएं, रखें। ये महत्वपूर्ण आह्वान इन तमाम लोगों से प्रधानमंत्री ने किया। तो साथ ही साथ ये भी कहा है कि एक तरह से इस फील्ड को लेकर जो क्लिनिकल रिसर्च हो या मेडिकल रिसर्च हो, प्रामाणिक तरीके से WHO के गाइडलाइंस के मुताबिक, स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय के गाइडलाइंस के मुताबिक वो आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। और WHO के गाइडलाइंस के मुताबिक लोगों तक जानकारियां पहुंचाने में, क्योंकि एक तरह का व्यापक नेटवर्क है, चाहे आयुर्वेद हो, यूनानी हो, सिद्धा हो, होम्योपैथी हो, योगा प्रोफेशनल्स, योग जो हमारे योग के गुरु हैं, तो वो तमाम लोग सही सटीक जानकारी लोगों तक पहुंचा सकते हैं, अफवाहों पर लगाम लगा सकते हैं। तो उस मायने में काफी महत्वपूर्ण
Right, the
भूमिका
Prime
है।
Minister stressed on all these points, reiterated them again, not to believe in rumors. Well, Sudhakar will have to leave it at that for now. We are joined now by our correspondent Nitendra Singh with more on the role of alternative systems of medicine like Ayurveda, Unani and homeopathy. Well, Nitendra, take us through the interactions and what were the points that were stressed upon, because it was clear in that interaction with the Prime Minister that Ayush practitioners have clearly stated that medicines, alternative medicine can help boost immunity.
जी बिल्कुल रुकमा, जो आयुर्वेद के या फिर आयुष के जितनी भी सिस्टम है, हमारे पारंपरिक चिकित्सा पद्धति है, और उसमें जो जितनी भी दवाएं हैं वो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर के लिए हैं और खास तौर पे इम्यून सिस्टम को स्ट्रॉन्ग करने के लिए हैं। और वो एहतियात के तौर पे आयुष मंत्रालय ने एक एडवाइजरी भी जारी की थी कि आप प्रिकॉशन के तौर पे इसे ले सकते हैं ताकि आपकी इम्यूनिटी बढ़े, और जब इम्यूनिटी बढ़ती है तो जो वायरस हो या फिर बीमारियों से लड़ने की क्षमता में बढ़ोतरी होती है। तो इस मामले में और भी जरूरी है कि कोविड-19 के जो वायरस है उससे अगर बचना है तो आप अपने आप को, इम्यून सिस्टम भी आपका स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए, आपका खान पान अच्छा होना चाहिए, आप अच्छी नींद लें, अच्छे पानी पिए, पानी ज्यादा मात्रा में पिए, और अरेस्ट करें, घर के अंदर रहें, ताकि आप बिल्कुल स्वस्थ रहेंगे। और वो जो पारंपरिक हमारा चिकित्सा पद्धति है आयुष का, वो उनमें जितनी भी दवाएं हैं वो सिर्फ हमारी इम्यून सिस्टम को स्ट्रांग करती है, सपोर्टिव सिस्टम है, और आपके अंदर एक क्षमता बनती है, शरीर को मजबूती मिलती है ताकि बीमारियों से आप लड़ सके और कोरोना वायरस से जो संक्रमण है उससे बच सकें।
Right, Nitendra, thank you so much for filling us in with those details. Moving on now, the National Medical Entrance Exam NEET has been postponed in view of the countrywide lockdown due to the coronavirus outbreak. In a tweet, HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said, since parents and students have to travel to different examination centers to avoid any inconvenience to them, he has directed National Testing Agency to postpone NEET, UG 2020 and G Main till last week of May. The national eligibility cum entrance was scheduled for the 3rd of May. Union HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has also directed Kendra Vidyalaya Sangathan to provide buildings to local administration for temporary housing of suspected COVID-19 cases. In accordance of the directions, the competent authority KVS has decided that on receipt of a formal request from any defense authority or district administration, principal of KV concerned shall allow the use of classrooms of KV school buildings for temporary housing suspected of COVID-19 cases. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has contributed a sum equivalent to a month's salary to the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund to strengthen the government's efforts to combat COVID-19 outbreak in the country. In a letter to PM Modi, the Vice President described COVID-19 as a calamity of extremely severe nature, which has claimed a heavy toll of life across the globe. He said that India is fighting the pandemic by taking timely and emergent measures from time to time under the leadership of the Prime Minister. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad and Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank have also donated their one-month salaries to the fund. And State Bank of India has said that it has decided to pass on the entire 75 basis points repo rate cut announced by the Reserve Bank of India. The new rates to be effective from 1st of April will be applicable for its borrowers availing loans based on external benchmark linked lending rate and repo linked lending rate. The bank said in a statement that equated monthly installments on eligible home loan accounts linked to EBR or RLLR will get cheaper by around 52 rupees per 1 lakh rupees on a 30-year loan. And we now go across to states to find out the current status of COVID-19 cases. The current count of COVID-19 patients in Maharashtra stands at 159. Yesterday, 5 new cases were reported from Mumbai, 1 from Nagpur. Till date, 28 people from these cities have been recovered and have been discharged from respective hospitals. And well, Maharashtra, it appears, still having a very high count of cases, but 28 people have recovered and been discharged. In total number of confirmed cases in the state, 159. And joining us now is our correspondent Shyama Mishra. Shyama, yesterday you took us through how the steps being taken, by various authorities there in order to ensure that social distancing, the only, and the best way of best precaution against the spread of COVID-19 found so far, the steps being taken by the authorities. Give us the latest details of the casualty count in terms of suspected cases, confirmed cases, and so on.
Well, the confirmed cases in Maharashtra has actually reached 159, and yesterday we saw that Mumbai had 5 new cases, Nagpur 1. So 6 more people were identified as positive, and a good part of these numbers are that 28 people from this 159 have recovered, and they have been discharged as well from their respective hospitals. So across the state, 28 people from this 159 number have been recovered. Also, when you are asking about the various measures that the state government has taken, we also saw Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray addressing the state yesterday night, and he also mentioned that those who are living, at the daily wage earners, the poor, those who can't afford the house, those who can't afford to travel, and those who are stuck because they were thinking that they could travel to other states, other districts, the Food and Civil Supplies Department have been asked that they should ensure that these people should not be hungry or they should not starve. So that measure has also been taken. Apart from this, social distancing, when we are talking about social distancing, time and again, the Health Minister of Maharashtra, Rajesh Tope, he has said that me Maza Rakshak, that means I am my own protector, and this is the reason that people are supposed to stay in home and protect themselves. So time and again, that request has been made, and also social distancing. The shops which are having essential commodities or daily life commodities, those shops have been asked to draw circles or boxes across their shops where people would be standing in that particular box, and not crowding the entire shop. Also, many shops have been given a permission that if they acquire the particular permission and they have those stickers, they can open their shops 24/7. So that is another relief coming in, because people were doing the panic buying, and the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister and everyone across party lines have asked that panic buying should not be happening. So these measures have been taken. Also, the NGOs, social institutions are coming forward. They are lending space for these poor, for those who are living on streets or those who were planning to travel. For them, these places have been given. They can stay here. Also, they have been providing bag of groceries where the essentials are there inside. Also, one-time food or two-time food that has also been given in that. You must have seen in the visuals where the police officials, police personnel are also on the road providing food to the needy, to the poor, underprivileged. And a very nice picture had come today morning where the police personnel were also feeding the strays, because men are left on the streets, and these dogs or these strays have been starving from a long time. So that is also another aspect where the police have been taken care of. Apart from this, there has been a slight rise in prices of daily essentials, because there are various restrictions. But government on that also is on war foot, ensuring that the situation is under control. The trucks that are being carrying the vegetables or the groceries or the necessary essentials,
right?
That
so clearly, Maharashtra's fight against COVID-19 continues, and as you said, very heartening news: 28 people have recovered of the 159 confirmed cases there in the state. Thank you very much, Shama, for joining us with those updates. And the first COVID-19 death has been reported from Government Medical College, Kochi. The deceased is a 69-year-old and a native of Mattancherry who had returned from Dubai on the 22nd of March. He had been undergoing prolonged treatment for heart-related ailments and had undergone bypass surgery. He was in the high-risk category and had been isolated from the first day of his arrival from Dubai. His wife and his taxi driver were tested positive for COVID-19. And Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today met nodal officers of all states and asked them to make arrangements for migrants in their respective states. The CM has reiterated his appeal to the people to stay wherever they are and follow government guidelines to fight COVID-19. As part of the arrangements for the migrant workers, the state government has arranged for 1,000 special buses to transfer migrant workers to their respective hometowns in the state. Transportation officers, bus drivers and conductors were called by the Chief Minister last night to make all the arrangements. Huge gatherings waited for their turn to board the bus at Ghazipur near Delhi-Uttar Pradesh border. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also visited SGPGI's trauma center in Lucknow, designated for persons infected with coronavirus, to review the arrangements which have been made there. And so Uttar Pradesh, in fact, all states taking full precautions, chief ministers of states across the country. There you can see Yogi Adityanath, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, taking stock of the preparations in case of an outbreak of the spread of the virus. And various other measures also in place. 1,000 buses have been readied in order to transport migrant workers back to their homes. And District Magistrate of Gautam Budh Nagar in Noida has ordered that landlords can take rent from workers or tenants only after a month. He added that no exodus of workers on rent ground will be allowed in present circumstances. He has urged people to ensure and cooperate. And Shailendra Mishra now joins us with more, both on migrants and how the government is taking steps in order to ensure that there is no exodus of migrants due to rent payment issues. Shailendra, tell us more. We believe that workers are gathering, migrant workers especially, in huge numbers in various states. In Uttar Pradesh, steps have been taken. But what are you hearing from your sources? Give us an overview of the situation.
ये देखिए, कई स्तर पर उपाय किए जा रहे हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार के द्वारा प्रशासन को निर्देश दिए गए हैं और जो एक भीड़ देखने को मिली सड़कों पर, खासतौर पर ग्रेटर नोएडा और NH24 में दिल्ली यूपी बॉर्डर के पास लोग अपने घरों, लखनऊ, मेरठ, बाकी जगहों पर इलाहाबाद या फिर कुछ बिहार के लोग जो सड़कों पर जाते हुए दिखाई दिए। दरअसल कहा जा रहा है कि कुछ इस तरह की बातें सामने आई कि लोगों को लगा कि बसें लगी हुई हैं बड़ी संख्या में और इसलिए अचानक लोग घरों से निकले। लेकिन अब पूरी तरह से इंतजाम किए जा रहे हैं। हम जानते हैं कि 1000 बसों का बेड़ा एक तरह से अलग अलग जगहों पर भेजा गया है। उत्तर प्रदेश परिवहन की बसें हैं, निजी बसों को इस काम में लगाया गया है योगी आदित्यनाथ के निर्देश के बाद। और हम ये देख रहे हैं कि बसों में लोगों को उनकी व्यवस्था करके उनके जो गंतव्य स्थल है वहां तक भेजा जा रहा है। और साथ ही साथ प्रशासन की तरफ से ये प्रयास भी किया जा रहा है कि उन्हें पानी की बोतल, उनके खाने पीने का सामान भी दिया जाए जिससे उन्हें रास्ते में कोई दिक्कत ना आए। मैंने यहाँ पर अभी देखा है परी चौक और उसके आसपास तमाम लोग भी स्वतः सामने आकर दरअसल खाने के पैकेट बांट रहे हैं, पानी दे रहे हैं और एक सहयोग कर रहे हैं उन मजदूरों का जो फिलहाल अपने घर जाना चाहते हैं। और गौतम बुद्ध नगर के जिलाधिकारी ने एक आदेश जारी कर और ट्विटर के जरिए संदेश देकर ये कहा भी है सारे जो मकान मालिक हैं उनसे कहा है कि जो उनके जो किराएदार रहते हैं उनका 1 महीने का जो किराया है वो फिलहाल न लिया जाए, उसे आगे अगले महीने के लिए टाल दिया जाए, जिससे जो एक आर्थिक दिक्कत जो झेलनी पड़ सकती है इन मजदूरों को, इन प्रवासियों को जो शहरों में रहकर रोजमर्रा के काम करते हैं, दिहाड़ी करते हैं, उन्हें वो दिक्कत ना आए। तो दरअसल कई स्तर पर ये कोशिश हो रही है कि जो मजदूर है, जो उत्तर प्रदेश के दूर दराज के इलाके और दूसरे राज्यों के भी जो रहने वाले जो लोग हैं उनको दिक्कत ना हो, उनके लिए एक इंतजाम किया जा रहा है, बसों का इंतजाम किया जा रहा है, खाने पीने का इंतजाम किया जा रहा है। साथ जो लोग फिलहाल यहाँ पर रह रहे हैं, चूंकि लगातार ये कहा जा रहा है प्रशासन की तरफ से, उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार की तरफ से कि जो जहाँ है वहीं पर रहे, कोशिश ये की जाएगी कि उन्हें वहीं पर सुविधा दी जाए जिससे कि एक जो सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग है वो भी बनी रहे और चिंता की बात एक तरह से ना हो और चिंतित ना हो। चूंकि उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने ये व्यवस्था की है कि मदद मांगने पर सीधे खाना भी जहां पर मदद मांगी जाएगी वहां पर पहुंचाया जाएगा और तमाम ऐसी व्यवस्थाएं, चूंकि हम जानते हैं कि अलग अलग जिलाधिकारियों के द्वारा उन दुकानों की लिस्ट डाली जा रही है, एक नंबर दिया जा रहा है कि यानी अगर आप अपने घरों से ना भी निकले तो जरूरी जो सामान है, खाने पीने के जो सामान है वो आपके घरों तक पहुंचाया जाएगा और साथ ही साथ एसेंशियल सर्विसेज के लिए छूट भी दी गई है। तो इस तरह के तमाम व्यवस्था की जा रही है जिससे लोगों को दिक्कत ना हो। और हमने देखा कि लोग जो अपने घरों को जाना चाहते हैं अब एक तरह से कह सकते हैं कि जो उनकी दिक्कतें हैं वो धीरे धीरे ही सही लेकिन थोड़ी कम होती हुई दिखाई दे रही है। बसों में बैठकर लोग अपने गंतव्य स्थल की तरफ, लखनऊ, आगरा, मथुरा की तरफ रवाना होते हुए दिखाई दिए। पुलिस के लोग इसमें सहयोग कर रहे हैं और स्थानीय लोग भी कुछ दिखाई दिए जो दरअसल खाने के पैकेट लेकर हलवा या पानी या पूरी या एक पूरा पैकेट लेकर दरअसल लोगों को दे रहे हैं। बिस्किट के पैकेट देखे हमने कि लोग वितरित कर रहे हैं और कह रहे हैं कि आप चिंता ना करें। न केवल उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार प्रशासन बल्कि आम जनता जो है उसमें भी से बहुत सारे लोग निकलकर सामने आ रहे हैं और सहयोग कर रहे हैं। तो दरअसल आप जब इस एक तरह से कहें कि जो एक समस्या खड़ी हुई है उसको दूर करने के लिए एक युद्ध स्तर पर प्रयास किया जा रहा है। जानते हैं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने मॉनिटरिंग कर सीधे इस बात के निर्देश दिए हैं कि जो भी इस तरह के दिक्कत में है मजदूर और श्रमिक वर्ग उन्हें
right, so the government taking all steps and of course a lot as can be done by the people themselves at this point. Government giving out directives and the most important, especially for migrant workers and those in other states, is to stay where you are right now. Thank you very much, Shailendra, for joining us with those details. And Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari has advised Chairman NHAI and highway concessionaires or toll operators to provide food, water or any kind of support to migrant workers and citizens who are trying to reach their respective native places. He urged people to be compassionate at this time of crisis. In a tweet, he said, toll operators will respond to this call. Surely, he said, toll operators will respond to this call to be more compassionate. And despite the lockdown imposed to contain the spread of COVID-19, the whole workforce of the power sector, generation, transmission, distribution and system operations is working round the clock to keep all homes and establishments alight. Power Minister R.K. Singh has said that in this time of crisis, the government is committed to provide 24/7 supply of electricity to all consumers. He added that during the present emergency, there will be no curtailment of supply to any DISCOM, and DISCOMs would be given 3 months moratorium for payment of dues. State governments are thus being requested to issue similar directions to state electricity regulatory commissions. And India has launched a determined challenge to combat the spread of coronavirus. In a series of tweets, the Union Civil Aviation Ministry has announced that an air cargo management group has been created to move essential commodities across the country during the 21-day nationwide lockdown to the COVID-19 outbreak. The first flight yesterday morning delivered 1.4 tons of ICMR kits from Delhi to Aizawl, Kolkata and Hyderabad, while another such movement of ICMR kits is in progress from Mumbai to Pune, Bangalore and Thiruvananthapuram. A third such flight is delivering ICMR kits from Delhi to Pune and Patna, from where it will possibly bring back testing kits of a private firm to Delhi, which will then be flown to Ahmedabad. In the fourth flight, an ATR is delivering ICMR kits from Kolkata to Dibrugarh. The minister added that the extensive helicopter network has been kept on alert in the northeastern region for intra-region movements. Our network can be activated if private agencies are interested to move medical kits and equipment, the minister asserted. The aircraft are crisscrossing the skies to ensure that ICMR kits for testing COVID-19 reach on time. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of the news. Namaskar.